One, we are live.
Hola! Welcome to our Facebook feed. We are Friday at 4:20. My name is Mike Nabuurs. Thank you so much for checking out our little show. Going to have some fun here this afternoon as we crank through another episode of Friday at 4:20. Now, if you are watching us live on Facebook right now, today is Thursday, January 28th. That means today is Bell Let's Talk Day, an opportunity for you. Just share the hashtag on social media, and it will generate lots of money to be reinvested in our communities to help with mental health initiatives. If you are listening to this on the radio, that means it's Friday afternoon and you missed Bell Let's Talk Day. Damn. Oh, well, maybe next. Hey, let's introduce the panel, shall we, to get this show underway. Underneath me on this Zoom call, it's Mr. Patrick Coppolino.
Buongiorno.
How are you, Patrick?
I'm very good. How are you?
That's good. I'm good, man. I'm good. Have you ever thought if you have any mental health issues? Have you ever had any mental health issues, Patrick?
I'm sure I do. Manolis can probably tell you I do.
But you've never suffered from some of the more serious depressions or anything like that?
No. On like later in life, like more recently, I think I've experienced even mild symptoms of certain things, but nothing compared to some people I know. But which I've been fortunate for that. But yeah,
nothing is crippling as your shyness.
Yeah, nothing exactly. Yeah, just more so like I think during this whole pandemic, just like anxiety and stuff like that I've dealt with, but that's, you know.
Oh, that's a very good point, and certainly something that's worth mentioning because I mean there are a lot of people who are coming maybe into touch with some feelings they've never had in their lives before, and like the feeling like the world's a little bit out of control and stuff, and that's not really a safe or comfortable place for many of us. So I think there are a lot of people who probably have struggled a little more this year in lots of different ways. Speaking of struggled, he's struggled his entire life and he's still hanging in there. Please say hello to Manolis Zontanos.
Deaconies, dude. How you doing, brother?
Take a knee, man. I'm not going to ask you about any mental health issues you've had because we only got a 40-minute show.
Yeah, I would say.
Have you struggled before with any kind of issues that you kind of thought, wow, man, this just doesn't seem like it's normal or right?
Yeah, I do think I've gone through times in my life where I feel like life's a bit of a struggle, but like somehow you just keep going and hang on and realize like my life is at least I'm not Patrick, so it could be worse. No,
wow.
But Patrick more is more of I think those are moments of like meltdowns, and I think I've had meltdowns too. And there's something really refreshing about a meltdown afterwards because you realize you're like ground zero.
Yeah, it's kind of like a restart.
Yeah, but I do feel for I think I have little bits of spurts of like mental health, but like nothing compared to what people really go through.
Yeah, well, struggling and having mental health I think are two different things too. Like you could be having a hard time in life, but people could have a great situation in life but be mentally ill and deal with it regardless. But
you have these moments where you justify, you think like, oh, I get it, but you don't.
Yeah, you don't understand.
It's funny, on Funny 820 during Bell Let's Talk Day, I've got a couple of interviews that I did this week that are airing. And one is with Mary Walsh, who we all know from This Hour Has 22 Minutes and Codco. The other is with Jessica Holmes, who was a player on the Royal Canadian Air Force. And we got in both cases, we got into a little bit of a discussion about how many funny people, because when you see people who make you laugh, you think they don't got a care in the world. But how many comedians... their comedy almost sometimes comes from a place of sadness or a place of darkness, or so many comedians have had mental health issues, and it kind of seems ironic, right? That you're a comedian and yet you can have these sort of other struggles in the times when you're not on stage. So yeah. It's very interesting.
Well, it could be ironic, or it could or the opposite. Like maybe it just makes sense that's the avenue people take when they have struggles like that.
Something Mary Walsh said, sometimes all you can do is laugh. That's all you got left in the world. Listen, we got to introduce our special guest. He's been sitting there the whole time thinking, what the hell talk show have I stumbled into? Damn it. Please, everybody, say hello to our good friend, Mr. Dave Smith. How are you, Dave?
Hey, it's actually Dave Smith Hayes. There's two names there.
Dave
Sorry,
Smith
Mike.
Hayes.
Yeah, yeah.
I dropped one of your names, dude.
He
yeah,
took
I'm a
his wife's
stickler about
second name.
that. Yeah. No,
One of them's your maiden name, is it? Excellent.
yeah, it's actually so my parents are divorced. That's why.
Oh wow! Well, we're
There
getting
it
into
is.
some heavy stuff now.
There it is.
Now
Yeah,
we just cracked it open, baby.
Let's
Dave
talk,
Smith
Dave.
Hayes is Smith Hayes hyphenated?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
it's
it is.
Smith and
Okay.
Hayes. Yeah.
Smith and Hayes. All right. Well, Dave Smith Hayes, welcome to the show.
Yeah,
And I'm not going to ask you personally about your own any mental health struggles. I mean, that's kind of a personal question. I wouldn't put you on the spot on that unless there's something you wanted to talk about.
No, I'm a perfectly functioning individual. I'm fine.
I know you are, man. You're a software developer, and that's
Yeah,
that in and of itself must be a struggle on some level.
I think a lot. I get a lot of mental exhaustion, which is it's crazy. Like you'd think sitting there for 8 hours a day, you'd be fine to like take out the trash, but you're just tired. Your brain is dead. You don't want to do anything.
Well, yeah, it's probably constant problem solving.
It is all mental, right? And you're not getting the
yeah.
physical stimulation.
Yeah, it's crazy. You got to like take breaks to like stretch and walk around. And
I feel that.
yeah, I'm out of shape.
Aren't we all?
Developers. Yeah.
One of our favorite things about Dave Smith Hayes is he was instrumental in helping us get some of our Friday at 420 stuff up on the intranet and the interweb. And so we certainly appreciate that, Dave. And we're going to have a little bit of fun with the show now. So let's get started. I'm going to Plinko for you, Dave. I got a Plinko board right here. For those of you watching on Facebook, there it is. There's the Plinko board. And this is how we select your first topic.
It's
my jam. There we go. All right.
That's your life right there.
It's old technology. You can fix it by hammering it with your fist. Topic number 3 for Dave Smith Hayes on this edition of Friday at 420. Wow. Okay. You know what? This is funny because this topic was written. I wrote this. I come up with the topics every week, but sometimes we don't get to them all. So this topic was written about 3 weeks ago. I don't know what inspired me to write this topic. I swear to God, this is not planned. But I believe maybe our guest at the time had an unusual last name because the topic is, would you rather have the last name Smith?
That's wild.
Dave, it is. Isn't that weird? Dave Smith Hayes. I'm going to ask you, because you made a point of being, you're rather particular about having both your last names read on the air. Is there an issue with just being a Smith? Is it, because it's such a commonplace name, or is there some other reason why you think it's important that both names be mentioned?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I want to throw my family under the bus, but
Nobody's watching. Trust me, buddy. Nobody listens. It's okay.
I don't know. They're Peninsula folks. They might be listening. The Smith family, I love them to death, but I don't know. I think my mom made the right call of giving me both names.
Well, especially because
awesome.
Your first name's Dave, right? So, like, how much more like vanilla out of the box name is Dave Smith?
Pat. My middle name is
Right?
George.
It's my dad's name.
Yeah, I have like the most bland, whitest name. So the Smith Hayes adds a little pepper
cool.
to it. Yeah.
I get that, man. I get spice in that thing, making it a little spicy, right? Because if you go into a hotel and try to sign in as Dave Smith, so have 1,000 other guys.
Well, I actually looked it up when I was younger. There's another Dave Smith Hayes out there, and he's a darts player from Wales.
Oh.
But I
Makes
trend
sense.
higher on the Google results than he does. So,
You made sure of it,
Yeah.
software developer. I worked in radio for a bunch of years. In the early part of my career, there was a guy, very popular morning show host on 1150 CKOC back in the early days, back in like the 70s, Dave Smith. And Dave had a long career on the radio here in Hamilton. So now I don't know if that was his actual name, because a lot of radio guys had changed their names to something more bland because they didn't like the, ethnic names on the radio. But there's a few Dave Smiths out there, I'm sure. What about you, Manolis? You've got an unusual moniker, top to bottom, Manolis Zontanos. Have you ever thought to yourself, damn it, I just wish I was Dave Smith?
I would love to change my last name to Zontanos to Smith, because if I type in on the internet, is Manolis Zontanos, and it comes up right away, still alive.
It does.
Yeah.
That's the top searched thing
Yeah.
for you?
And like, I mean, yeah. And like, I would just like that not to be the thing. So I'm like, maybe if I just went Manolis Smith, maybe my life would get better. You know, like I know Dave, and I've talked to him, and he has a great life. And I look at him like, I would like Dave's life. He's smart. He owns a house. He has a beautiful wife. I'm dating my hand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need a change. I'm going to actually today, after I'm going down City Hall, and I'm going to be called Dave Smith. What's your wait? Yeah, I'm going to change my last name to Smith. I'm just going to go Smith. That's what I'm going to go. You know what? The part I really hate about my name is like if I meet any random person, I'm like, "What's your name?" Manolis. I'm like, "What's your first name?" My first name is Manolis. Well, really, your first name's Manolis? Yeah, my first name's Manolis. It's not your last name? No. Well, what's your last name? Zontanos. Your last name's Zontanos. Is that a made up? I'm like, you think looking at me, I might be a homeless person, but you think like this guy that's probably a moron came up with Manolis Zontanos out of thin air, like just grabbing the universe, like Manolis Zontanos. That's it.
That's the moniker. I would like it if you would just change your last name to Smith, and then you'd be Manolis Smith, because I think that
Yeah.
That sounds like one
got
word.
a lot of spunk to it, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I
That's
could
like
use more spunk.
more obvious that like he has just a Greek mom and she won the first name battle. Like the dad's like, fine, you can.
And my name is after. So my brother's name's Peter, because that's my grandfather's name on my dad's side, and my mom's dad is named Manolis, and that's why I'm Manolis.
Manolis and Peter.
That's what the Greeks do. My brother didn't do it with his kids because he hates my dad.
Patrick Coppolino, we know you were named for Patrick Swayze, so we've gotten that out of the way before. But as far as just Patrick Coppolino, I mean, there's an ethnic moniker to you there. Have you ever thought, would it be simpler if you were just, Pat Jones or something?
No. I like my last name, and I'm, as far as I know, the only Patrick Coppolino. Like I've looked it up. There's no other Patrick Coppolino on Facebook.
Because most of the Coppolinos have more
Italian names,
Italian first names, right? But like Anthony Coppolino, 700 million of them.
Yeah, I have 2 of them on my Facebook. I don't even know who they are. I swear to God, I have 2 Anthony Coppolinos.
That's good. All right. Well, we got names out of the way. Let's move on to our next topic on this Friday at 4:20. Topic number 7. We're going to roll with this one now with our special guest, Dave Smith Hayes. All right. Something important that I need to know from each of you, and we'll start with you, Patrick Coppolino. What is the best dessert? Bar none, hands down, the best dessert.
I'm going to have to go with the cannolis. Cannolis.
Oh, nice cannolis. I like that.
Yeah.
Cannolis. Yeah, cannolis are really good. Cannolis can be, it's funny because that's a dessert, right? That can be better at some places than others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some cannolis are you set the bar really high, and other cannolis don't quite live up to the bar.
Yeah, but they're good for dessert. They're good for breakfast. They're good for snacks. I can eat cannolis all day.
All right. Coppolino went with the cannoli. What about you, Manoli?
I went to this school that doesn't exist anymore. It's called Albion Secondary School. This is where you go if you don't have, like, if you do really bad in school,
right,
and you can't go to normal high school. And I was that kid. I went there from grade 9, grade 10, and the kitchen, like, so there was lunchtime. There was a cafeteria and you could buy food there, but the students made the food, but they had butter tarts. And so as soon as but they'd always run out. So as soon as the bell rang for lunch, you could hear a rumble in the whole school where every kid in every class was running to the cafeteria all at the same time. It was 3 floors to get the butter. But they'll be like, and you're like, you run down the hallway, jump. You'd see like 20 kids to jump down like 30 flights of stairs through the air. Like, you think they're like, is the school burning down? And you're like, and like, it was like a race. And then if you got in line, if you were like the first 20 kids in line, you got one of those butter tarts. And man, I always ran for those butter tarts, dude.
I don't like.
So that's the best dessert?
Yeah. Butter tarts, dude.
Butter tarts from Albion High School.
Especially from Albion High School. The students made them, so who knows? Who knows? Explains a lot about my life, but I ate a lot of those butter tarts.
There
too.
might have been stuff in those butter tarts. All right.
Yeah.
So we got cannolis and we got butter tarts. Dave Smith Hayes, what about you? What's the best dessert all time, bar none?
I'm not a huge dessert guy, so I usually just go with a cup of black coffee. But I will preface this: I have fought family members over my late grandmother's date square recipe, and I will crush a platter of date squares.
What are date squares? What?
Yeah, you never had date squares? It's
Did you say day or date?
Date.
So what's a date square?
So it's like a baked. It's like an apple crumble, but with like mashed dates.
You know what? It has some similarities to the butter tart. I mean, it's not as sweet as a butter tart, but it has like a similar kind of texture and creation like that, right?
Wait, can you make these?
My mom has the recipe right now, so I have to get it off her. But yeah, I could probably make them. Cooking's not hard. You just follow the instructions.
I don't know what that word is.
Everything is hard for Manolis, Dave. Come on.
That'd be a great name for a show, actually.
Everything is hard except Manolis. All
Yeah.
right. Oh.
That's more just to the truth.
All right. We are going around the horn here on Friday at 420. Our special guest, Dave Smith Hayes. And let us move on to topic number 2. All right, we're back to names again. I don't know why sometimes this happens. We get all kinds of, I write the topics over several different weeks, and sometimes we get some duplication. But you know what? This is more about first names than last names. Sometimes, especially when you're talking about naming a child, you come up against this thing where you have a prejudice against a first name, likely caused by somebody you ran into in your life who you were like, I just don't like that guy. And now anybody named that is off limits. So give me a name that you just kind of feel queasy about, that you don't trust. And it's probably a personal thing. We're no offense to anyone named that. I just want to know a name that you kind of like, not a big fan of that name. Manolis?
I'm trying to think of a name off topic, but off the top of my head. But it's the thing that came in my head is more like an accent of like I don't know what it is about English dudes from England when I meet them. It bothers me. I'm like, what do you like? He's like oh, cherry. Like I get it. You're interesting because you got this weird accent. I feel like you came here because girls that you run into will go, oh my god, your voice. I'm like, did you move from London, England to Hamilton, Ontario just to get laid? Because I wouldn't have done that. I'm like, London's pretty, I've been to London. It's awesome, man. I'm like, but like, I would stay for stand-up comedy, but I wouldn't stay like you go anywhere and get laid eventually. Sooner or later, someone has sex with you. You know what I mean? But like I don't know what it is. The more they talk, no, but the more they talk, I swear to God, when I talk to someone that's from that accent, I'm like, it bugs me. I'm like, and it takes all my strength to not go, hey, can you just get away from me? Because I don't buy your BS, dude.
So we went, there was the off chance that you were going to offend somebody. We could have offended with your answer everybody named Frank, which wouldn't have been that many people. But no, you chose a nation of 70 million.
Well, no, I mean 7 million people aren't moving to Hamilton, Ontario. Trust me. I'm talking about that one guy that's maybe not even like that good looking, but and he's kind of chubby or whatever, and he's like, but I got this accent, and I'm moving. I got this voice, and I'm gonna use this voice to get some tail.
That's a whole part of the movie Love Actually.
You know what? Go to the gym, all right? Work like everybody else has to.
Manolis thinks Hamilton, Ontario is the only place that doesn't have an English accent.
Dude, did you know? I just my friend told me yesterday that Hamilton, Ontario is the lowest in consideration of like the most of romantic cities because of the sales of Michael Bublé albums. Did you know that?
Right.
Is that right?
That's
you know
correct.
that?
What?
We buy the fewest Michael Bublé albums, so they suggest that we're the least romantic.
My mom buys all of them, I think.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's
so
not a good metric.
what does that tell you about Hamilton? That's what's like, dude, this dude.
You don't like Michael Bublé. That's what it says.
Yeah,
It
that's
says
all
like-
it says.
I like
Michael
Bublé.
You
They call it, I said something, it's a romance index, and they talk, they look at the sales of a bunch of different things, Michael Bublé albums, Red Roses, blah 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 blah, and then the towns based on how much they're involved in romantic gestures. So
Listen, Mike, I'm having a hard enough time trying to get tail already, okay? I don't need to compete with some guy that sounds like they're more interesting than me just because of the sound of their voice. All right? They sound more educated off the top just because the way they sound.
You know, again, now that you've just berated the point to death, it makes more sense. Patrick Coppolino, what say you, mister? What name? Is there a name that you just kind of, I've never had a good time with a guy named Owen?
Yeah, I despise Australians, Mike. I can't.
Oh, don't get me started on Australians.
Nice weather.
Sideways fast.
Aussies are always down to party, dude. I'll tell you that for sure, man.
I don't for whatever reason the name Andrew. I can't think of an Andrew I don't like, but I remember my mom told me that she almost named me Andrew, and I've always was so glad she didn't.
Just been repulsed by the name.
I think Andy's cool and Drew is cool, but Andrew, there's something off about it.
Non-starter for you.
I don't trust it.
Excellent. That's what I was looking for. Pissing off all the Andrews in the crowd instead of everybody of English descent. Dave Smith Hayes, is there a name that just kind of always rubbed you? There was a kid in grade 4 that you just I just would never name my kid Patrick.
It's not a name. It's I don't like the name David, but I like the name Dave. And I don't like when other Daves don't go by Dave. Like when I'm like, "What's up, Dave?" and they're like, "It's David." I'm like, "Shut up!" Like,
you're from England, trust me.
It's
does it feel pretentious?
It does. It's the same for all names. Like if I meet a guy named Mike and he's like, "No, it's Michael." I'm like, "No, it's Mike." I'm like now. I don't like saying people's full names. I don't know, if I can't cut your name down to one syllable, then I don't want to say it.
So our friend Mr. Zontanos over here, what do you call him?
I don't know. What do you call me? I don't even know.
I do. I call him man. I call him Manoli.
Manoli.
Yeah,
okay.
I get Manoli a lot. Yeah.
I like Manoli. Manoli sounds friendly.
You can fit that into one syllable.
I got
yeah.
I got so many of them.
Manoli.
You know what, David? I feel the same way about Michael. I mean, I never was staunch about being called Michael. I always was Mike, just all my whole life. And I always kind of felt like the same. I would agree with you that it just always felt like, oh, really?
Mike Neighbors sounds cool. Michael Neighbors. There's something off about it.
No, I don't want to meet Michael Neighbors.
He sounds like a shitty vice principal.
If we had to do the show with Michael Neighbors,
yeah, am I in trouble right now? Are we grounded, Michael Neighbors?
I used to work with this guy, and man, it must have been about 3 years. And anytime he saw me, anytime we bumped into each other in the hall, anytime we talked at all about anything, he would always, as soon as when he first saw me, he would say, "Michael Neighbors, Buffalo Sabres." Every single time. It's how somebody gets they think it's a cute nickname, or what that was. Oh my God, it was annoying. Anyway, all right. Michael Neighbors, Buffalo Sabres. Here we go. Let's get another topic going on this Friday at 4:20. Dave Smith Hayes, our special guest. Topic number 10. Oh, let's hope this one doesn't have to do with names. Interesting. We're going to go deep here, guys. So we started the show off with some deep talk. So let's continue it now on this Friday at 4:20. What is the color of underwear you normally wear? Dave Smith Hayes, go.
Gray.
Gray. You're a gray man.
I own stock in Fruit of the Loom.
Can we say the name of the company you work for? Because it's a super popular, very successful company.
No, I'm not going to say it.
All right.
people know who I am.
Yeah, but you might find their name in the back band of your underwear. All right, here we go. Here we go. Manolis, give me the color of underwear you normally wear.
It's always in packs of 3, so I try to find the one that has the most colors I like. For some reason, I particularly like the blue. I like blue underwear. I like blue. It's blue.
You're big on blue in all your clothing items.
Yeah, I like blue, but there'll be a blue, a dark blue, and then a black. And I don't like. Obviously, no one likes white. What I want to know is who's buying. I go to Value Village and there's an actual section with underwear, men's underwear, and they're tidy whities, but and they're white ones. And like, who's buying used underwear? Who are these people? And I'll tell you why it's BS, because women don't do this. I've checked. There is no women's underwear for sale at Value Village.
No,
But there's
he's
men. Like I would have bought it all, but like the men's underwear, then they're $2.99, dude. If you want to go to Value Village and buy a $2.99, like if you're gonna buy and I see you, I'll stop you and I'll take you. Get in my car, I'll drive you to Walmart and I'll buy you a pack, because no one should buy used underwear. I don't understand. I do not get it. Whoever owned this used underwear, he was probably died too. He probably died in that underwear.
It is still only on this show that I've ever had confirmation that they sell used underwear at Value Village. Now, Manolis, you're the only person I know of who knows this fact. Is it true? I don't know.
It is true. It's what?
It's actually Manolis' most popular Twitter post is the photo of the underwear in Value Village.
I posted it. I posted it one time. I'm like, $2.99. Is this a good deal? Should I buy it or not? And it went crazy. Everybody's like, get it.
Oh, all right.
Buy the used underwear. Do it. Michael. Listen, Michael.
Michael. Yes.
You go to your buddy's house. You forget it's a pool party. You forget your swim trunks. Your buddy goes, here, man, use my swim trunks.
No.
You don't wear it.
I've done that.
No, I'm not gonna wear them.
Patrick, I didn't ask you, and we know what. I know too much about you. That's the least of your problems. Michael, you would not do. I know you. You would not wear another. You wouldn't let your junk touch another.
I would probably forego the swimming. You're correct.
Yeah.
My only thought on you preferring blue underwear, Manolis, is that it's the color that matches your testicles. So, Patrick Coppolino, what color underwear do you normally wear, buddy?
It doesn't seem to matter because they all end up brown eventually. So.
Oh wow!
Zing!
You
So
gotta learn how to wipe,
with the
dude.
brown.
It's a poo
You start with the brown.
No, I don't. Actually, I don't have a preference, but I have mostly gray and black.
Gray and black. All right, that's what I wanted to know. That topic just went sideways on us badly, didn't it? It's Friday at 4:20. Dave Smith-Hayes is our special guest. Manolis Zontanos, Patrick Coppolino, and this Bell Let's Talk Day Thursday, unless you're listening to this on the radio and then you missed it. Hey, listen, guys, we're going to go with this question now. It is topic number 5. And Dave Smith-Hayes, I'm going to start with you.
Shoot.
How do we feel about lying? Lying has been really big in the news, obviously, a lot of political issues with lying and stuff like that. What I'm looking for really is more of a feeling of, when do you feel we all do a little bit of lying. So my sense for you is like, when do you feel, are you an absolute truth teller? Or do you feel like, yeah, you know what? I tell the truth when I think it makes the most sense to, but sometimes you got to hold back a little bit. What is your just general sense of lying and what you would teach your kids about lying?
Lying is all contextual. The context in which you're telling the lie matters a lot. I try my best to be as honest as possible all the time. Huge fan. If you got nothing positive or truthful to say, just don't say anything. So there's a lot of conversations where I just sit there and go, instead of being like, oh, hey man, that was a great set you just had. I'll be like,
Hey, you were up there.
yeah, just tell some facts.
Hey, was that good? Did I have a good set? Was that good?
Yeah, man.
If anybody asks me, I'll just be like, well, you told some jokes. There was some laughter.
It's not good if you ask the question. Definitely. Was that good? No.
Yeah.
So in fairness, you take that seriously. You take it like I my problem is I think some people don't take it seriously enough. The idea of truth telling, and that you tell a few little white lies and it becomes just easier, and then next thing you know, you're just basically rampantly lying. Sometimes, like you said, Dave, for no reason. You could just keep your mouth shut and not say anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna walk this back a little bit. I also love to pretend I'm someone I'm not. If I meet people I've never met before, I'll tell them like my name's Dan, and make up this whole fake character and play into it. But it's non-consequential, right? Like it's not like.
Are you from England? Are you from England?
No.
Okay.
I'm from Northern Ontario.
But that's fun. You're just having fun there.
Yeah. It's not like I'm lying about gambling debt or something.
No, no, or your past. Patrick Coppolino, what do you have to add on this topic? I'm just going to leave it kind of wide open for you to just jump in with what you feel like, maybe what's going on in our society with lying, how people are handling it poorly. What do you think about the topic of telling the truth versus not?
Well, I agree with Dave. Like, the context is huge. But I think overall, it depends on the outcome, right? If it gets you out of trouble, yeah, do it 100%. If it hurts anyone but yourself, no. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it totally depends on the context. It's hard to say, but I think what I find odd are compulsive liars. Like, I do know a few people. I've always known a few people that just they lie without being
It's so
provoked.
easy.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for it. They just make stuff up.
It's interesting.
Like, for attention or something. That to me is the most bizarre form of lying. They're not trying to they're not asked something and they're trying to get out of it by lying. They're just volunteering these lies that nobody asked for, and it's very strange to me. I do not understand that.
What kind of conversations have you had with your daughter about lying?
The usual. Lying's bad. You shouldn't lie. You should always be honest.
Oh, Patrick drawing a hard line there in the sand.
It is funny. Like, she's 9, so obviously, like, for the last few years, like, it's funny when they start to lie. Like, that was like a few years ago when they first start lying about stuff, and it's funny, and especially the stuff they lie about, because they're not
That's right.
big deals. But I don't know if it was like Louis. Someone has a great joke about kids figuring out lying and like how it's like a perfect solution to, like, how do you tell a kid not to do that when it works? You know.
There were a couple of great movies made too, right? About like guys who had to tell the truth all the time, and
yeah,
and the movies themselves, whether they were good or not, doesn't really matter. The point is how much they pointed at how much lying we do.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like crazy, right? Like lots of little things, like me even saying that I enjoy doing this show with you guys. Like it's been like 2.5 years. I can't shake it now. Like what? Oh,
you're gonna have a heart attack.
I'm telling you, it's insane. Manolis, what are your thoughts on lying?
I'll tell you my favorite lie. Can I tell you my favorite lie that I've ever heard? It's
Sure.
so amazing. Like, when if I tell you, like, where'd you hear that? I'm like, I was there, dude. I watched it.
Yes.
I work at Tracy's. We're on the patio. It's summertime, and Donnie used to have this. Donnie Coy was like drunk as usual. And when he's drunk, it's just anything, whatever comes out of his mouth. It could be true, it could be a lie. And he's talking to Josh Kemp, we've had on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And he just had a 5-minute set on this show at Tracy's, and he goes, "Hey, yeah, just so you know," like he's in front of his parents too. "Just so you know, I talked to Jim Carrey, and I told him about you, and he wants to meet you, and he wants to fly you down to L.A."
This is one of the things I'm talking about. Just and no one asked for it.
There was no reason to bring up Jim Carrey or anything. He just wanted to feel like, look what I just did. Look what I just accomplished.
Even though he didn't do it at all.
Yeah.
No, that didn't even happen. But it was like, and I'm looking at, like I hear the words come out of his mouth, and I go, my eyes are just like, that emoji where your eyes just go, boop, like, what? Did you just say that to a 15-year-old kid with hopes and dreams? And I'm like, his parents are like awesome parents too, and they're like, oh my god, they're just don't know Donnie enough yet. They know that this is all BS, and they're like, oh my god, that's amazing. Oh my god, and I'm like, I think I pulled the dad aside. None of this is true. None of this is true. None of this is true. And I'm like, yeah, where does that come from? Like, what the hell was that, man? And I'm like, and obviously, Jim Carrey does not know about Josh Kemp. Like, I guarantee.
Yeah.
But
That's a shame.
It's a shame. Yeah, it is a shame. But I will tell the one lie I'm okay with. Like, if I tell you, am I dating you, and I get to the point where I say I love you, I would rather you just lie to me and say I love you back than not say anything. So like there's so much honesty I can take. Like, the honesty is like, I love you, and they're like, it's like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, no, that's not what I was looking for. All right, if I wanted that, I'm not dating Donnie Coy. Just tell this. Anyways.
And knowing that about you, Manolis, that's the reason that I always tell you I love you, dude.
I love. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
There's a sound. Is there a sound I hear? What's that sound? Is that your mic?
My microphone.
Okay,
There.
thank you.
I didn't hear anything.
It was like.
Sometimes my mic buzzes.
Oh, nice. And sometimes Manolis is buzzed. So
Sometimes.
anyway, interesting topic, guys. It is one of those things where I think that sometimes some people learn to lie to manipulate other people. I think that sometimes, I know I've lied in order to help keep people moving forward. And I sometimes think that I got to think that I'm doing good. To me, it's always it's about lying for good instead of evil. There is a difference. There's a difference between lying for good and lying for evil, and that's the line that I kind of try to draw. So
Mike, I'll tell you, I've been dealing with you for like 2-3 years now, I guess, just through this stuff, and whenever. Sometimes you have to call me and tell me something that you think that's not, I'm not gonna be happy about this, but this is how we got to do things. You're super straight shooter. You just tell me what's up, and I just it's so refreshing. It's so much easier to deal with the situation.
I appreciate that, Manolis. A lot of those times I was lying and I just didn't want to do what you wanted to do. But I'm really good at making excuses.
Yeah,
you won't let us have a moment, Mike. You won't let us bond. You just push me out of your heart, Mike. You push me out.
There is a weird level of respect for people that are just brutally honest, though, because they're nice to have at least a few people like that in your life, right? Because there are certain situations where you'd think you just want to hear what you want to hear, but it's better to hear the truth. So it's nice to have a few people in your life that will be honest with you and not lie just to spare your feelings.
It's funny because we had this conversation in our house all the time because my daughter, who's 28 now, still has, nightmares about the fact that when she was 7 or 8 years old, her mom and I would compliment her on her singing. Well, her singing was horrible, but we didn't want to knock her down. Yeah. And then next thing we know, unbeknownst to us, she signs up for a singing class at school, and now she's in front of people singing, and it was a horror show. People were covering their ears.
Oh, no.
And so then she comes home to the people, and she was crying and everything. It's oh, my God, what have we done? So, lying, yeah. Sometimes the brutal truth, Patrick, is helpful, even when you think you're doing the right thing. So, again, that kind of defeats my argument of lying for good versus evil. But at the same time, you have to be super careful with lying.
No, lying for good makes you feel good, Mike. You're doing it for yourself.
Now, that's the kind of brutal honesty I don't appreciate, Patrick Coppolino.
That's an amazing story.
That's a crazy. All right, let's get another topic going. Friday at 4:20. Our guest is Dave Smith Hayes, and he gets topic number 6. All right, you got to drink milk. Is it going to be chocolate, strawberry, or white milk? Dave Smith Hayes, you got a feeling, a preference on those?
I think milk's abhorrent. I don't.
No milk at all.
No milk at all. I don't. It's weird to me.
What's abhorrent mean?
It's disturbingly disgusting and just wrong. It's morally wrong.
So me
morally wrong to drink milk.
Yeah, I don't care. My whole family drinks milk, and I'm the only one who doesn't. But if I had to choose, I'd probably choose strawberry because it's so novel. You don't see a lot of strawberry milk.
No, you don't. You ever buy the syrup and you put it in the milk, right? And stir up the strawberry?
As a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. We still have it in our house. I'm not going to say whose it is. Love me some strawberry milk, man. So you're a non-milk drinker. What do you do for bone density? What about your calcium, man? What?
Broccoli.
Bone density. Broccoli.
Just broccoli?
Broccoli has a crazy amount of calcium in it.
It's really good.
It really?
I don't know if you're getting there, Dave. I'm worried about you now, buddy. Osteo. Manoli, do you drink the milk? Do you drink any of the milk products?
I used to put in sometimes I put in my coffee, but now I went to black because I feel like that it matches my heart. So I just go I just drink. I wanted to see if I could just go do black. No sugar, no milk, or no sugar, anything, and I'm liking it, and it makes me realize that I am truly sad because I'm taking enjoyment out of my life just to to. It's like I can. You got to beat me. Yeah, I need someone to choke me when I have sex now. You know what I mean? Like I can't just have sex. I need things to. I need suffer in my life now.
Dave Smith Hayes, you also take your coffee black. I think I heard you say earlier in the show, right?
Yeah. I've been doing that for 15 years.
Oh, I bet you have.
Yeah.
No, but I like if I drink too much, I find if I drink too much milk though, that's the problem. Like if I have like a glass of milk, it just all of a sudden it just goes right through me. So I might be one of those guys.
Lactose intolerant.
That word, yeah.
That word.
That word.
Yeah, that word. Whatever that word means, I know. Yeah, I can't. I can deal with it in my coffee, but like, yeah, I like what I like to do is I grind up. What's that stuff you like for your Dave? You're saying like broccoli. I like to grind up broccoli.
Ew.
I like to grind it up
Coffee?
and turn it into liquid and then pour that into my. I like black coffee mixed with broccoli. With broccoli. Coffee
Listen,
with broccoli. It's my new store.
Yeah, as much as I'm enjoying this conversation, guys, I was really hoping for better answers. We were hoping to get the dairy farmers as sponsors of the show, and now they want nothing to do with us. Patrick, save us, buddy. How much milk do you drink? Like gallons, right?
First I want to say I'm impressed we got through Manolis' answer without him mentioning breast milk. I thought for sure that was coming out.
That is the best milk. I've tried so many times.
No.
Nothing comes out.
The best milk is breast milk. I between
Strawberry was the question.
chocolate, white, or strawberry. I think between the three, the byproduct of white milk, cereal milk.
Oh,
They actually sell cereal milk now, like on its own.
do they really?
Yeah.
Just sugar and milk.
Yes,
I don't
it
know.
is.
Or like it's just literally just the leftovers of.
I
people's
was
breakfast.
shopping, grocery shopping the other day, and they said it was for a limited time. And I don't know if it's been back on the store shelves. When I was a kid, my mom would never let me buy Apple Jacks. And then it disappeared. And suddenly I'm walking down the aisle and like a halo, Apple Jacks are sitting there in front of me. And so I have a box of Apple Jacks at home. Now that's cinnamon apple flavor. That cereal milk from Apple Jacks. Oh,
Yeah.
you could bottle that crap and sell it, man.
Yeah.
I like to take girls on dates to McDonald's and I get a milkshake, like a strawberry milkshake. And if they can drink it like really fast, because you know how hard it is to drink a strawberry milk, like this. If they get like, I'm like, I always say, "Will you marry me?" Right there.
And they're like, I gotta go back to school. You don't tell people on the radio you take your dates to McDonald's, Manolis.
This would be an excellent time.
Hey,
You know what you
Hey,
gotta
hey,
date?
hey, I carry the tray.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? Like I'm romantic.
Dave Smith Hayes, I'm not sure if you'll ever agree to come back to this mess, but we certainly
Absolutely not.
appreciate you doing it.
Is it over? Are we
Wrong.
done? It's over?
Done. We certainly
What?
appreciate you doing it this time. Is there someplace we can follow you on social media? Do you crack wise on the Twitter or anything like that, buddy?
I crack wise and I critique the government a lot on Twitter. You can follow me at dsmithhayes. I also take photos at Levity when it's up. When you can go into Levity. You can follow me on Instagram at dsmithhayes, all one word. Yeah, that's
D.
it.
Smith Hayes, he's a good guy, so please follow him on the social medias. Dave, we really appreciate your input, man. You were a lot of fun to have around.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Manoli, what do you got to say to close out the show?
Okay, Keller Williams Edge Realtor is the company, but my buddy Paul I can't even say his last name.
Good friends.
Apostoli. It's a weird. He's Greek.
Worst plug ever.
No, Paul Apostoli. Okay, he's a friend of mine. He's a realtor. He buys and sells houses. If you need someone to buy or sell your house for you, please email my friend PaulTsiknias at sold@gmail.com. If you don't remember that, just message me and I'll give you his info. He's a good friend of mine. And that's what he does for a living. He's a rad dude. He's
Excellent.
And he's honest. And he's super honest. So
Like
that's all you need.
Keller Williams Edge Realty. Manolis,
He doesn't lie.
Manolis, if somebody wasn't able to pick up that awesome email address that you gave out over the air, how would they follow you on
Which is
social media so they
wrong,
can message you?
'cause he said at soldgmail.com, which has got to be wrong.
Wait.
At souldgmail.com.
DAULTSIKNIAS dot sold SOL dot sold SOLD. You sell something. Dot dot sold gmail.com.
Dot sold gmail. No, you mean at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Dot so SOLD gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Did I get right?
We're gonna put.
I don't know.
We're going to put Manolis in charge of all of the commercial plugs on the entire radio station of Funny 820 because I think it would be funny if he was doing all the commercials.
I wasn't even supposed to last this long in this universe. So what do you want from me? I am giving you information. Take the information for what it is. Okay? Do a little research and you'll figure out. Manolis Zontanos, I'm on all social media, and I will give you the info if you can't remember any of this chaos that just happened.
Manolis, you're the best. I love you.
I love you guys.
Patrick Coppolino, Levity's still closed. You've got nothing for me, right?
I got nothing. Just follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Patchco89.
Where he plays poker.
Subscribe. I play poker. I play video games.
Well,
all right, boys.
Okay.
We're shutting it down. No more.
Gamble with my money. You haven't done that yet. We got money sitting. I got money. We're doing nothing, Patrick.
We got to shut this thing down, boys. Thank you so much for another edition of Friday at 420. Thank you if you've been watching on Facebook. We appreciate it. And if you're listening on the radio right now, we really appreciate you hanging out with us on a Friday afternoon. It is almost a weekend, so until we get the chance to talk to you again in 7 days' time, have an awesome weekend! Woo!